Well, once again, it's time, my friends, for another meet and greet. We're Southern Fried and nationwide, so hang on to your seat. Look around, here's what I found. I guess you'll never know what you'll see on the Southern Fried Podcast Show. Yeehaw!
Southern Fried Podcast News Desk, conservative and Christian news brought to you each Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will be covering news that affects America and you. From politics nationally and to the state level, we will discuss topics that are breaking each week and get your input as well. Join us each week for news from a conservative and Christian outlook. God bless America and God bless you. Hey folks, Dave in the AM here with the Southern Fried Podcast and the Cornbread Nation. For many weeks now, me and Rob have been telling you about our affiliation with Dubby Energy Drinks. I've been drinking some of them on the show, and I just got in today the powder version, and this is the Pond Blom version of this. And hey, I tell you that it gives you the focus and the energy without the jitters or the crash. There's no sugars, no fillers, no artificial dyes. So get you some Dubby today. Use the promo code Southern Fried, and you'll get 10% off each and every order. Not only can you get the energy drinks, but you can also get some cool merch items. In fact, soon we're going to have a hat to show you as an example of some of those things. There's shirts and other things you can get as well as containers to mix up the powder and the water into that you can carry with you. We appreciate your support of the Southern Fried Podcast and also of Dubby Energy Drinks. We'll see you again soon. Take care. And good evening. Welcome to the Southern Fried Podcast News Desk, Christian and conservative news. And we're going to talk about those things this evening. Got lots to cover and a couple of odd stories out there you may or may not heard of. We want to talk about those as well. Good evening. I hope you've had a great Sunday. I hope that you was able to get to church, and we did. We didn't have services tonight. And so I spent the afternoon really working on catching up, which I won't be caught up. It'll take me a few days from the trip. Good evening, Michael. Appreciate you being here, buddy. Got a lot to catch up on, and I got some of it pushed out today, a little bit, not near enough, but got some things to put together for tomorrow and getting ready for a couple of programs. We're still waiting on one thing to come through just to make sure we're all good. We made a phone call Rob did this evening. Talked to him today, and we're excited about all the goings on. And thank you we just crossed over 18,000 total followers. That pales in comparison to many, but we're not even a year old, and we're quite proud of that. Thank you so much. That's counting all streams, audio, video. Everything we have is well over 18,000. That has jumped by 1,000 in just the last week or so. So we're really seeing it escalate, and appreciate that. Appreciate you being here tonight. Those that's in the stream, give us a chat, yell there, shout out what's going on in your neck of the woods or whatever. And hopefully I won't lose. My connection is not the best tonight. Hopefully usually it'll get better. This cold weather sometimes just messes with my my internet. It is cold. We are seeing some cold temperatures in North Georgia. It was pretty cool in South Georgia on the mornings. It got really nice throughout the day, but in the evening it was quite cold. Well, a lot of news going on. We're getting closer to the swearing in day, and of course, the budget was there was a lot of they're always rattling the sabers, threatening to shut down the government, and people on both sides are never happy, depending on what happened, and they're not happy with. Really, I think, and I don't really care. I mean, I don't want to see anybody's job affected, but usually most of that is just a bunch of nothing. Most people, they just clock right on, and it does affect a few people, but mostly it doesn't. It doesn't affect what they say it's going to affect. So, anyway, they've got a stopgap measure, and of course, there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes, trying to position from both sides as we get to the end of the Biden administration, the beginning of the Donald J. Trump administration. So lots of news to talk about on that front. And so without further ado, Trump has really come out with some very strong terminology over the last 24 hours. And one of them sort of kind of came, I think, from left field a little bit. But he talked about the Panama Canal today, and that has been a hot, an issue that has not been talked about a whole lot because of a lot of this is the China connection, China, as he would say, and the Chinese have been exerting their influence around the globe, and a lot of that is in shipping lanes and places like the Panama. And it was very strong. So today, Newsmax article, Trump threatens to take back control of the Panama Canal. Of course, we know how important it was, and we know what we put forth as a nation to make sure that there could even be a Panama Canal. So he says that for his part, he says they're charging excessive rates to use that passage, which allows the ships to pass between the Pacific and Atlantic Oceans. In a post on Truth Social, by the way, thank you for the 400 plus followers on Truth. Really been exploding here lately, and probably be 500 before the end of the weekend, which is just a few hours, be very close. Hello, Cook. Love you and Jesus too, and I'll get to your chats in just a second. Trump also warned he would not let the canal fall in the wrong hands. Well, that is that Chinese influence. I'd even looked at this article. I already knew that because I'd been reading for weeks and months about the Chinese connection here that was going on. And so they've been, not only have they been exerting influence around the globe, they're also brainwashing people. They've opened these libraries. I don't know if you've heard about this. They've opened these libraries that all over the world, a lot of them in Central South America. And they're skewing, history and the present day and everything, and building these laboratories. They're kind of like a laboratory, but they bring people in to influence them and change their views about things with America and China and I'd been reading about this for some time. There's a couple of people that stay on the ground in those areas, especially Central America, and have talked about this. I've seen pictures of them before. And the Epic Times has covered this as well. But anyway, he says that he warned of potential Chinese influence on the passage, writing that the canal should not be managed by China. Well, absolutely should not be managed by China. I mean, they've already been trying to control the South, Chinese area, outside of their boundaries. They've been making man-made islands, been shooing people away using their Navy and Air Force and everything, and have become a bully. It's not that they weren't always a bully. They've been doing more than that. He says China does not control or administer the canal. However, a subsidiary of Hong Kong-based C.K. Hutchison Holdings manages two ports located on the Caribbean and Pacific entrances of the canal, respectively. So the post goes on to say was an exceeding rare example of U.S. leader saying it could push a sovereign country to hand over territory. It also underlines an expected shift in U.S. diplomacy under Trump, who has not historically shied away from threatening allies and using bellicose rhetoric when dealing with counterparts. He says, quote, the fees being charged by Panama are ridiculous. especially knowing the extraordinary generosity that has been bestowed upon Panama by the U.S. Thank you, by the way, President, not really thank you, Jimmy Carter, who released, that was one of the things I was angry at him about, our, more of our control over that than we have now, which is none. But yeah, he said that we'll demand that the Panama Canal be returned to us in full and without question, he wrote, end quote, he wrote. The Panamanian embassy in Washington did not respond to a request for comment. Of course not. They know they better be quiet here, because what are they going to do? But there is a buddying up to China. China is really influencing, throwing the money around, influence, making trades, building ports. That's another thing they've been doing, is building up ports. And it's interesting that he mentioned that, because that's not the only place that has happened. Venezuela, other places, that they're really trying to take the overall world shipping. Of course, they want to, just like Putin, they want to control the global marketplace, and one of those is the shipping. And so they've been doing that. So a little history there. They signed a pair of accords in 1977 that paved the way. Again, Jimmy Carter paved the way for the canal's return to full Panamanian control. The United States handed over control of the canal in 1999 after a period of joint administration. The waterway, which allows up to 14,000 ships to cross per year, accounts for 2.5% of global seaborne trade. That's a lot. 2.5 don't sound like a lot, but you think about all of the money and all of the things that are traded across the seas. That's a lot. We're talking a lot of money. And it's critical to U.S. imports of autos and commercial goods by container ships from Asia, and for U.S. exports of commodities, including liquefied natural gas. It's not clear how Trump would seek to regain control over the canal, and he would have to no recourse under international law if he decided to make a play for the passage. So anyway, I wouldn't say that we'll probably be doing that, but it's to put people on notice that the United States of America is not going to put up with Chinese influence controlling that passage, and that the rates better get better. And it's a business deal. He just let it be known it's not going to hurt anything. But yes, the Chinese are trying to do those things over the world. So definitely a problem. So he is saying, no, we're not going to allow that to happen. That's a Newsmax article. So Michael says, I just have heard about that. We have one woman in the House that hasn't voted any since July. That's in the retirement. I did read that story. And Pelosi sort of disappeared as well. I did hear that story, and what she's been was like missing or something, and then that definitely should be followed up on. I don't know. I did see just a little about this afternoon. I didn't read deep into it, but it's like the defense. It's like Lloyd Austin disappearing and been in the hospital, not letting anybody know. This is even worse. Been gone for a while, months. Nobody knows. She's got dementia or something. And, if you can't fulfill the duties of your office, you have to resign. And that would qualify. I mean, I understand if someone's sick, you give them a period of time. That's not extraordinary time there, but it would if the outlook is not good, then it would require something to happen, because there has been some that have been sick before, and they're in and out. And that's happened on both sides of the aisle. But yeah, Cook, good evening to you. Love you. Glory to God. Absolutely. Had a good day at church this morning. We do a thing where we do the Christmas story with song, with scripture and song. And then I did a short preaching. But it was a good time had by all. So hope you're doing well, and your mom. And, thanks for being in here, brother. Looking forward to things. Hey, Tammy, thanks for giving a like there. I'm just glad to be back in my studio. Hey, I love being with Robert, but there's nothing like your own studio, and hopefully have a new studio soon. I got to get on baby boy. He's got to finish up some stuff. I'm supposed to do that today. Ain't seen him, baby boy. I'm calling you out. Got to get that finished tomorrow. But yeah, it's nothing like being in your own chair, your own studio. And, but it was fun. It was really fun, and I loved it. But yeah, it's good to be home. It's good to be. I like a heavy dose. I do a lot of recording. I love it, and there's not hardly a day's go by that I'm not recording something. And in fact, I've got some shows I've got to catch up on. So I'm off this week and into next week, and most of the week, and you're going to see me a lot. So I hope you'll come see me anyway. But we appreciate all the folks being in the stream tonight at Instagram. A couple of folks there, and hopefully that'll grow. We've got quite a few in here. Thank you for being here across multiple streams, and we do appreciate that very, very much. Well, he went on to say about this that we're being ripped off at the Panama Canal. And that's one of the things he does. I mean, he's a businessman. I mean, he looks at things and he understands economics. And so, trying to kind of get these people in line. I mean, that's what we want. We want people to do what they need to do and make money, yes, but not rip off the American, government and or taxpayers, usually the taxpayers. But sometimes deals are bad and people take advantage. It's like a company, sometimes when I see some of the things that they charge for our company, even it angers me. And I'm thinking everybody like, this is ridiculous. This is way too much that we're being charged. And you just feel like they take liberties with that. And they do, the United States as well. Of course, China could care less. And China's been in an economic free fall. They've been in trouble. A lot of people don't know. But not that they're getting all that money, but who knows? They could be getting a cut. But they have been in an economic distress, I guess is a good word to use, in their economy. And Russia's not. I mean, has made a lot of money in the black market, but they're expending so much money in their war with Ukraine. It can't be good for their economics. Another article is Fetterman says he's potentially going to vote for Pete Hegseth and Kash Patel. And again, he kind of, you never know where he's going to sit at. The Democrat out of Pennsylvania, John Fetterman, Senator John Fetterman, he said he potentially will vote yes on some of President-elect Donald Trump's most controversial cabinet picks. We don't think they're controversial. This is an article by Eric Mack on Newsmax. But he did mention those too. He said potentially. So he's there possibly. He's not going on to say definitely he would do that. But those votes will be coming up, and those are going to be hashed out really fast. So things have got to happen fast. I mean, we're less than 30 days away from the swearing in. So we've got to have these things get done, and they will happen quickly. He goes on to say, quote, but there's going to be some that I will vote yes, and there's some maybe that I'll vote no. But nobody can accuse me of just saying that I have a closed mind or I just said no because Trump picked this person or whatever, end quote. And I would say to that, God bless you. He's not just going to do it because it's Trump, and he's not just going to vote against it because the Democrats want to say vote against it. He's using his own feeling about it, and you got to give a guy credit for that. We may not always agree with him, but he's come around in a very strong way to at least be negotiable about this. So I think there's going to be a lot more than that. I think this election has broken some of those strongholds in the Democratic Party, and they've certainly wanted to shift more to the center. And there are those in the Republican Party, yes, they're called rhinos a lot of times, but there are more that have shifted to the middle. And they don't want to get burned. And he's in an area where this could potentially burn him, depending on which one he's voting on. And so Pennsylvania can have some oddities about it as far as liberal to conservative. But as hardworking people and folks that they want a safe America, and they want an America that is now being led by President Trump for the majority. And we've seen that through the election, and they want to see these picks get done. I think they're tired of the fighting. But yeah, I think that's good that he said that. He went on to say he excoriated the Democrats for turning their backs on potentially influential cabinet members, declining meetings he has taken up to the criticism of partisan Democrat obstructionist. Quote, I think we're going to learn more, end quote, Fetterman told John Carl, but my commitment, and I think I'm doing the job, is I'm going to sit down and have a conversation. And the president picked these people, not going to be my first choice, second choice, third choice. This is a great quote in here, but that's democracy. Wow. Now, that's just something, that is pretty, that may be the most powerful thing he has said since we've even known about him. That, yeah, it may not be who I want, first, second, or third choice, but that's democracy. The president has picked someone. Well, and it could have been Michael. I mean, it could have been. I mean, he definitely was out absent sometime in some of those early press conferences and stuff. I mean, he wasn't good. I know he was away for a while. I mean, the guy had a real problem. I mean, and if he hadn't got better, he certainly should have stepped down. And there, I said it myself that he should not serve. At least have some, step away because he didn't seem to be cognizant at all times. He really just seemed to be struggling, but he has rebounded and he's making some amazing statements here. He goes on to say, and quote, and to me, it would be distressing if he is confirmed or if the Democrats are going to turn their back collectively on the leader of the defense. I mean, that's astonishing and that's dangerous, end quote. Representative Lee Stefanik, Republican New York for U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations, Secretary of State nominee Marco Rubio, Republican Florida, are already getting full endorsements from Fetterman. Quote, if I was as a Democrat looking to assemble a bipartisan cabinet, he'd be a solid choice from a Democrat. End quote, Fetterman said of Rubio. The Democratic senator said he has no regrets breaking from his party to listen to Trump's nominees. Quote, I have learned things, and I have heard things, and I have no regrets for having these, Fetterman said. Quote, I never left any of those interviews saying, well, that was a waste of time, or I regret that, end quote. That's astounding. Absolutely astounding that those quotes right there. And really lays the groundwork for Trump to get some business done. Yeah, there could be more like him. It's very close. Republicans need to listen to this guy. I mean, honestly, he's willing to work. He's willing to say, okay, it's maybe not who I want, but we're talking about let's move forward. I think he's ready to help move the country forward. And those that are really just to be roadblocks or troublemakers, I think that they better watch out. But that one caught my eye to this afternoon when I was looking over news. And I just think that was amazing right there, what he had to say. And these are two of the most controversial picks is Pete Hegseth and Kash Patel. And so amazing statements from him. Doesn't mean that they will be, but I have read that they believe they have enough votes for Pete Hegseth as Secretary of Defense. So, well, I would agree, Michael, far past time. They should. And she did wait too long. You're right. Dianne Feinstein, Democrat, California, who was so very ill and sick and not cognizant there. If you remember back, and I'm going to break away just for a second since you said that, and just say you remember during the confirmation hearings on Brett Kavanaugh, and I think there was one other, and it was a circus, obviously. And I remember, Dianne Feinstein was a ranking member, and she was having to be guided so much by her staff through that I wondered how much she even realized what she was actually saying. And it got to the point where, I mean, even, there were people that were taking up for her from both sides, because it just got a little ugly when she was, her staff was having to correct things on the fly. I mean, she was really, really struggling. And, nobody enjoys that. That's McConnell too, on both sides. Let's be honest here. Mitch McConnell, majority whip there from Kentucky. I mean, he had his total lapse in a press conference where he just didn't even know where he was at. And you can wait too long. I won't say the name, but there was a state senator in Georgia that this happened to. And I remember going to a political event that he was at. He was a part of. There were others there. And when I talked to him, and he got worse. We got audience with him for just a few moments. When I talked to him, he just seemed to be struggling a little bit, and it was obvious that age was starting to have an effect. But he was entrenched so much, nobody was going to beat him. But it was. I was thinking at that time, this office is going to open up pretty quick, and it did. Sometimes they do just wait too long, and yeah, I get it. They want to hold on to that. Nobody likes to say it's time. It's like taking grandpa's keys. Nobody wants to do it, but you have to do it. You have to do it for the best of the country or your state or whatever. I remember someone else that I was talking about or talking with years ago in a city, and without saying the city, and there was someone in that office that was had really become abusive to the rest of the staff, and everybody was aware of it. From the leaders on down, but that person had been there so very long, was kind of legendary, and a lot of people loved that person. And it was just they just dealt with it as best they could, realizing there wasn't much time left. But in doing that, they caused a lot of problems among the staff, the stress level. Things weren't getting done in a timely manner, or work was being piled up on other people. And honestly, you just can't let that keep going on. And they just didn't want to deal with it. They just did not want to be that person to have to say that. Well, somebody has to. And it's not an easy thing, but somebody has to. Yeah, he was. Can you imagine if they had seen the full video of President Roosevelt, Franklin Delano Roosevelt? I was coming back from South Georgia, and I passed right by the exit to go over to Warm Springs, and I was thinking about that. How back people did not know how bad he was, especially in that last term. He was very sick, and he had no business out over there negotiating, honestly, with Russia and these other nations, these power axis, and he was in bad shape. And other things that were going on, obviously, with the affair and everything in Georgia. A lot of things were hidden from the press, and nowadays they would cheer that, but some of it anyway. But yeah, that's an amazing thing. Tom Holman, another article here about Eric Mack. Trump win made me smile. Well, he put a smile on a lot of our faces. By the way, I'm going to get a picture of this and get it put up. But I got this Christmas card in today. It's a Merry Christmas. You made the nice list. And you see a picture of President Trump there. And this is from here in Georgia. This is from the Georgia Senate Republican Majority Leader Steve Gooch from over in Dahlonega. He's over there in that Blue Ridge area. And I have listened to some of his. He's not my senator or anything, but I have listened to him on another podcast, and he was the one he was on this committee, or some of the committees that were dealing with election integrity in Georgia. And I really liked some of the things he had to say. In fact, I got a lot of great information from him of kind of where things were at. And I know I got contacted him, because that's how I got on the mailing list. I'm pretty certain. I may have even made a campaign donation. I don't remember, because I made 2 or 3. And I think he was running for re-election. But I love the card. I just love that card. That's killer. But I got that in the mail, and it put a smile on my face again. I was like, amen. Let's move this country forward. I mean, we're stagnant right now. What in the world is going on? We got people missing. We got people being pardoned by the thousands, and I don't know what. A lot of people don't know what's going on. We haven't known what's going on behind the scenes for some time. And if you try to question the administration about anything, they just shut you down. We're not going to talk about that. They'll just end the meeting. So yeah. But anyway, he said that President-elect Donald Trump's victory made the notorious curmudgeon. Have you ever been called a curmudgeon? I think Robert called me a curmudgeon one day. He's getting older. He's a curmudgeon. Tom Holman, but it made him smile for the first time in a long time. But he told Turning Point Actions America's Fest in Phoenix, Arizona on Sunday morning, he quickly turned angry again amid the President Joe Biden effort to destroy America's border. Joe Biden is the first president in history of this nation who came into office and unsecured a border on purpose, not by mismanagement, not by incompetence. They unsecured a border by design, end quote. The borders are, Holman told the crowd in a speech that aired in part Sunday on Newsmax and the free Newsmax 2 streaming platform. The first day I smiled was when President Trump won this election. I woke up the next morning. I was happy. I smiled, quote, I smiled for the first time in a long time. Then I got angry again because even though they lost the election, they're still moving thousands of illegal aliens in this country every day. And I don't know if you heard about the the immigrant that set the woman on fire and burned her. And these stories are they do make you angry. It's ridiculous. And I don't know if I've got it. I think I saved it to my thing, this photo. And Elon Musk on this story about the man who set, this was from Nick Sorter. He had an ex account. His ex account posted the man who set an innocent woman on fire on the New York subway. Sebastian Zapata is a recent migrant, in quotation marks, from Guatemala. The Biden regime refused to deport him. An innocent woman lost her life as a result. Mass deportations now. And I'm going to show this to you. It's his platform. If you can see this, let me get over here. Oh, if I get the lighting right. Elon Musk says there, enough is enough. You remember we had the MAGA minute for that, and that was Joe's own words. Enough is enough. Me and Elon got the same thing going on. Enough is enough. And Joe said it himself. Enough is enough. I concur, sir. Enough is enough. We need you and your whole bunch of criminals to go. Absolutely. You're gonna get me fired up. Wait till I get Rob in the morning on the morning show, our first morning show together, back actually since I left for the trip. And I didn't get to be on the one. I just couldn't, but we'll look forward to be back in the morning show. He said the CBP one's out, still running. They're selling pieces of the border wall, for God's sakes, that you, the American taxpayers, paid for at a hefty price. And now we got Biden again. There's no smooth transition. They're going to destroy this country up to the last day they're in the Oval Office, end quote. Inauguration day will bring the end to the carnage, Holman added. But I've got news for them. January 20th, the greatest president in my lifetime is going to walk in the Oval Office and take this country back, end quote, Holman said. So, man, yeah. Holman said he is coming out of retirement to be Trump's border czar after serving 6 presidents. Quote, I'm back, he said. I've got to learn. I used to remember that commercial here in Chattanooga. I'm Gary Mack, and I'm back. Always remember that. For those of you who are not in Chattanooga, you remember as a radio announcer, worked with a lot of different people, but I used to love listening to him. He said, I'm Gary Mack, and I'm back. But anyway, he said, I've got to learn how to retire. This is the second time I got unretired to come back for this president. But I love this president because he loves this country. I love this president. He wants to secure the border. I love this president because his security and border saves lives, end quote. Wow. There's some great news articles tonight. Chick Bait. Hello, Chick Bait. And good evening to you, Michael. The aliens, let's see here, don't realize that the Biden administration is infuriating. Tom Holman more every day, and they will go back faster than expected. Oop, let me get my earpiece back in. I feel like the Secret Service here. Superman movie premieres this summer, or if so, if all this feels, we have something in 2025. Oh yeah, there's a clean your ears, yeah. Oh my goodness. Hello, Chick Bait. How you doing, everybody? Go to YouTube and give Chick Bait a follow, and her true crime shows. Have you done a new one lately? I need to look. I try to stay caught up, but sometimes I get busy. I've been very busy here lately, so I have olive branches where I go. Premieres January 21st. Well, the day after. Well, it's Superman on the 20th in real life, and then the movie version. Let's see here. And leave me hate mail. I love it. No, not hate mail. What are you talking about? We hope you're doing well, and we hope whatever you're doing is going well. Oh wow, you've been active. Oh, I have one 5 days new, but the news will be over. Okay. Well, I still watch it. But follow Chickbait on YouTube platform and go in there and buy her a cup of coffee. I need to get one of those put up for us. Buy me and Rob a cup of coffee. I already told him to buy me a biscuit crumpled. Oh man. I had fun down there. We had fun. It's America, baby. Politics can be different, and we can still get along. It's okay. You have a right to be wrong, Chickbait. You have the freedom to be wrong, and I support that freedom. Oh, sometimes we all get it wrong. Let's see. I did Summer Wells. Oh, okay. I need to see that. I was a January, and so yes, I should. Thank you for doing that. I'll watch it. I definitely want to do talk. I've actually been listening to some folks I haven't listened to in a while and got a little update on it. I just feel like, and I'm going to divert here just for a second, the Summer Wells case, the young child in Tennessee that's been missing now for, oh goodness, almost, 3 years? Almost 3 years. I think it's June will be 3 years, something like that. Maybe it's 4. I don't know. It was at 21. I guess it'd be 3 years or 4. My goodness, Alyssa. I've got the coffee mug at work. I need to bring it in the studio here. When I get in the new studio, that mug will be prominent somewhere close to me in that studio because I never want to oh, I did hear about the Delphi verdict. I was keeping up with that as best I could when that was going on. What a monster. Those poor girls. So sad. So sad. One of the things one of the things I like, the best thing about that video that you did, don't say we're nice. The one thing that was amazing is I like that you're giving through various news accounts and different things the lay of the land there. I learned that was one of the things I learned the most, besides those amazing pictures at the end. But on your video that you did, or one of you did, but I honestly, I guess I'm just I'm chicken. There's no way I would walk across that train trestle that they all talked about walking across, that they walked across, and the killer walked across. I'm sorry. I'm just not going to walk across something that has gaps in it that goes to a river, it's 50, 60, 100 feet down, whatever it is. And have to make sure you stepped on the best board available. I'm not doing it. It's just not me. I'm not doing it. So, yeah, but yeah, you're right. And I saw that it is a hot spot in Delphi, and I bet Rob would do it, but see, he couldn't do it because of his potential for a seizure. He would say, "Dave, you got to go and hold me in case I get." And there's no way I'm going. I'm just not. Even when I was young, and I've gotten older, and we try to be careful. And I was talking to a lady the other day, and she listens to our show. I don't know if she's listening or not, but she was talking about not running and stuff and being careful, and how you do have to think about, you get older and you don't take the chances you used to. But even when I was real young, I did jump things and do things, bikes and just running and jumping and mini bikes and everything else, but not over open spaces that you could crash down. That was not my gig. I'm scared of heights, but Southern Fried Chicks on the right have like 150,000 subscribers. They're real good. Cool. Yeah, love it. Love it. Chicks on the right, love them. We need all we can get. So absolutely. I had a person who's connected in some way in the entertainment world gave me a thumbs up today on our name. Said they liked it. So yeah, we are us. We actually will be coming underneath the umbrella. The podcast will still be called the Southern Fried Podcast, SFP. But in 2025, we're most likely, the LLC will most likely, we're going to come under an umbrella called the Southern Fried Media Group. That's going to happen sometime not too far into 2025. So we have a lot of things we want to umbrella under that name. So that'll be what we're going to be called. But the podcast will be still be called Southern Fried Podcast. Yeah, the guys on the right. Maybe we could do a dual show sometime. We're not there. We're not in their realm if they've got that many subscribers. We're not there yet. We're the little boys. They're the big girls, But yeah, you got to start somewhere and you get there. I can remember back. I was adding up the follows today and crossed over. Me and Rob used to be able to do that on one hand. We did, when we'd get down and we used to figure them all the time. Then it got just too hard because you had to go through so many things. And I'm thankful for that. But I remember we were trying to get Facebook to 15 followers. And by the way, thank you, whoever may become the 300 Facebook follower. It doesn't sound like much, but it took us forever to get there. It's amazing. We have thousands of followers on some platforms, and Facebook and YouTube have been such a butt kicker. And but we did pick up some while I was in South Georgia, and I talked to a lot of people down there and was like pleading, come on, you got to give us a follow. Oh, really? That we're the only two that didn't block you for being? We don't block people. You know what? The only way anybody gets blocked on this channel is to be filthy, or if thank you, Michael. We're about 6,200 on X, but when you come in here and you say filthy things on purpose, you're just asking for it anyway. And to the moron the night that jumped on my granddaughter, you know what? Be glad that was the only thing you got. I'm glad you're out of town and I'm out of town. Because, I even gave you a heads up. This is a 12-year-old little girl. Watch it. And you go there, you're a punk. They're out there. You jackleg. You're going to be hearing a lot about jacklegs when the Cornbread Nation show debuts January 15th. But different kind of show, but we'll have fun. But definitely jackleg and jackwagon is going to be involved. Yeah, it'd be like Joe. Come on, man. That's what I was saying. Like, come on, man. What do you mean you're going to? I give you a heads up. Like, come on. I didn't say it was my granddaughter. It's a 12-year-old girl. Who this is, I may have said at the end, and didn't they go there? Like, tell them to get out of there. Like, idiot. Oh my goodness. Well, you have to be, we like to give people their say. We meet people all the time. By the way, in the video, we're going to have a lady on that, hey, Lewis, that was in one of our videos that's going to be posting probably tomorrow. We told him Monday. I've got to get some things done with it. There's actually 2 videos in one, and it may become a third. Don't know when we're going to get the third, though. There's going to be a part 3. There's a longer part 1, a very short part 2, and be a longer part 3 about the folks against the monkey facility in Bainbridge, Georgia. But there's 2 groups, and the other group, both groups came together. Well, the leader of the second group is there, and she is a hoot. And she called herself, what was it? Rob's not here to help me. I think she called herself the long-haired liberal hippie chick or something. We both told her, we both had the same idea. We went out to view the land where they proposed to put this thing. It was a couple, then it was us and her. And we told her that on the way, so we want you on the show and have it's nothing to do with monkeys. Although you're welcome to come on about that. We just want you to come on and talk about whatever. She has a great personality and just explodes off of her, and it'll be great on a podcast. And she's been pumping our show down there. If you're watching it, God bless you. You're amazing. But yeah, it is cold. I don't know if you got snow where you're at. Steve said it's snow where he's at in Ohio. Chick Bait said it took 2 years to get there. I don't doubt. I don't doubt that. My hair is too short. I'm trying to catch up on the chat. I'm just here to promote and be kind. Well, that's very sweet. Well, we should be kind, especially this time of year, right? But yeah, Lewis, how you doing tonight? Yeah, I didn't finish. We just want to say hi to friends. Thank you for that. Quality restraint equals chick bait. Well, most of the time. I've seen you get fired up a little bit. Michael says he's around 10,000 at X, and I got my blue mark back now. Good for you, Mike. Good for you. That not to be critical. The only problem I have with the platform is a couple of the stupid algorithms rules that they have going on, and everybody knows they're there. And it's like I'm about like Joe with Elon. Come on, man. You got to do better than that. Come on, man. And he does a great job with a lot of it, and he comments on a lot of people's stuff. I enjoy reading his posts and stuff. But come on, man. Some of those rules you got, man, they got to go. The mystery taking away of followers. Everybody's suffered through it. I've suffered through it twice. All of a sudden hundreds of people are missing, and then sometimes they come back and sometimes they don't. You can go in on one day and you're down 500 people, and then you go back and you got some of them back, or all of them back, or none of them back. It's ridiculous. And then the stupid 7,500 follow rule. That's dumb. Same thing that TikTok has 10,000. But anyway, come on, man. You don't need all that stuff. But anyway, Tom Homan, he's throwing the gauntlet down there, and I do like that. Another thing, Laura Trump withdraws from Senate consideration. There'd been talk about that, replacing Rubio. She says no, she is out on that. And then Trump on Elon, no, he's not taking the presidency. From Eric Mack as well, President-elect Donald Trump struck back at media reports suggesting advisor Elon Musk is serving as a shadow president. Well, who's saying that? I mean, is that not what we're doing right now? The shadow president? No, he's not taking the presidency, Trump said. He told Turning Point Actions America Free Speech in Phoenix, Arizona on Sunday in a speech that aired on Newsmax and Newsmax 2. I like having smart people. Trump equated the media suggestion Musk is serving as a de facto president to share their latest quote unquote hoax. They're on a new kick. Russia, Ukraine, all the different hoaxes. And the new one is President Trump has ceded the presidency to Elon Musk. Quote, no, that's not happening. End quote. Oh, you're right, Michael. That's absolutely true. You know what? I was steamrolling up to 5, and then they started putting the clamps on me, but that's okay. But your son was trying to trigger you all weekend. He visited me. I love him though, but I do know. By the way, I lost it a little bit. I say lost it. That's maybe not an expression. I became very unhappy. Oh my goodness. Someone really got under my skin. And I just had to, had to deal with me because it really, it got to me. And we're human. We are human. And, I just felt like the comments were unfair. And so I just had to let my feelings be known. But I really, once I kind of went down that road, sometimes your emotions can kind of kick in and take over if you're not careful. And I think I did. I don't doubt that at all, that you lost. I do not doubt that at all. And there's things that get you a quick hook, and that's one of them. But every content creator has said these things from all over the spectrum. I will say this, that on X, the MAG is really good about promoting you. And I've been on a few of those promotions and tried to help people. And I've met, we got a lot of friends, and I'm thankful for them. They follow us and we follow them, and there's others all over. Every platform has uniqueness to it. Has, we're on about everything we can be on, and some are bigger and some are smaller. But one person, a friend made is a friend made, no matter where. So, debunking it was a fake attempt. No, I don't know if I don't know. I don't think I saw that. But I'll go back and look at it. But yeah, I'll go back and look at it. I have been struck a couple of times and appealed it. And on one of those or two of those, I won. There was one, and I forget what I put in there. They wouldn't. I lost the appeal. It wasn't on X. It was. I think it was TikTok. TikTok and YouTube are the only two that have ever really come right out and said, "We strike your post." But sometimes they're little things that read, the watermarks and whatever. They're wrong. They're just wrong. The Chinese have like 300 cameras all over the country, and we have social media that success. I just want to say, in looking at the late news on what was it? I guess Friday night or into Saturday, I guess it was Friday when we were running around, they were talking about how, the Chinese in control of TikTok and how they won't sell that and how, this ban will come. I still think it's going to get worked out somehow. I just can't believe that, 170 something million people or whatever it is has TikTok in America or something, some crazy number. I just can't believe that it would, that they wouldn't work out something. But well, that's true. I do like to have people for a discussion and, friendly debate, reasoning, I would call it, not really true debate. I have been on debate teams before and through ministry and other things. And, it's fun to do that. Sometimes I did that in a class one time, take the other side. We took the gun issue one time, that dreaded thing. And I got to play both sides of that. That was fun. Not suing you for nothing. I do that too a lot. And early on we didn't mention some things we mentioned now just because we were trying to watch some of those things. But at the end of the day, whatever happens, happens. We'll still find our way out there. So I know for those that wonder, I don't know if we'll ever be monetized on anything. It's something that we don't really care about. That's not our model. And we're not monetized on anything. I can tell you that there is no money coming in from any social media stream to the Southern Fried platform as I sit here tonight. It's not. We make no money off of anything. We have made about $9 off the store. We didn't really make anything. There's more cost than we just, whatever would come in, we put in. And then I bought some things from the store. We're not making, there's no money. I mean, we're not making any money. We're just having fun. And, but I like that, honestly, because I don't want to feel like I have to do something, to keep that, I mean, there's some people on X that are making a lot of money, but boy, they're almost a slave to it. I don't do it for that. I'm not doing it to be a slave and to be controlled by that. That's one of the reasons we diversified through so many streams, so that if we were struck, so what? We're struck. I mean, it happened to a lot of ministries. It happened to a lot of good groups that I knew that were struck, and they were using it for fundraisers and stuff to help their ministries and stuff, because that's how they made their living with books and whatever, and the way people made their donations, and they had to scramble real fast because they just struck them. It's not right. It's not right. Thank you. We'll fund you. Not sure. Yeah. And everybody contacts about, let's see what else. We all got the crypto guys that come in and gals, and they're wanting to make us a whole bunch of money on crypto. That cracks me up all the time. And if I had $1 for everybody that sent me a WhatsApp invitation, I guess I could retire. It's like, please go away. There's always those key words, Where are you from? Are you a man or a woman? How old are you? Like, please, come on. Block. Bots everywhere. Oh, yeah, I guess it would, Michael. I understand that. And it does all come down to that. But I want to tell you, it's a game. There you go. Team up and monetize. Some of those things, it's crazy. I won't name one of them. I always look, I guess to say I haven't made anything, I think on one of them we made like 21 cents or something like that. I don't even think I ever saw it, but that's what it said at one time. You made 21 cents off of hundreds of dollars. That's what it come down to because they took away money for everything else. I don't know. I don't even pay attention to that. I just load material and talk to people. So, you're crazy. Oh, but yeah, it's really a game, and everybody says, we have gotten to the point where we've been reached out a little bit more to do ads and stuff, for certain platforms. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that, whether we do that or not. Who knows? I like doing this. I like doing it for the affiliates. Love that. And no, we haven't made any money off the affiliates, but we love them. We love what we're doing. And who knows, it may one time defer or offset some of the costs. If it happens, fine. We're happy to promote them. And we don't charge for commercials or anything. So we run them because they're friends and we're trying to help people or organizations or whatever. And we told the Chamber of Commerce that in Miller County, and we've told the Chamber of Commerce that in Walker County. Haven't had a chance to talk to Catoosa about that yet, but we'll do that. And small business can do that. We help small business. We run ads for them and we try to promote them. And some of them we reached out to, they've never gotten back with us, and they've just decided, I guess they don't need that. And we still forward their stuff out because I believe in them. It's not about money. Everybody wants money, sure, but I work, so I'm not funded through social media. So I have actually 2 jobs, and one full time and one that's part time, and then do all this too. So, but anyway, so yeah, he says Elon is not going to be taking over. Now, here is the big announcement, a couple of them. One was the Panama Canal. This is the other one. And there's several things that's going to happen early on the day of swearing in. And one of those is Trump's going to declare there's only 2 genders. And this is an article, again, by Eric Mack. He pulled no punches against the leftist ideology that sought to change the name of Mount McKinley to Denali and spreading anti-science propaganda that there are more than 2 genders. Here is the quote: "Woke has to stop because with everything else, it's destroying our country," end quote. He says, quote, "We're going to stop woke. Woke is bull hockey sticks." However you say it, a little word in there. He added to the loudest cheers of the day. He denounced Democrat and leftist activist efforts to rename American historical locales. Quote, "As Commander-in-Chief, I will restore the proud and historic names of our great military bases like Fort Bragg," Trump continued. By the way, I just went by what was known as Fort Benning forever. Nothing against General Moore. They named that the Fort Moore, and they changed a lot of streets. But I will say this, in Columbus, Georgia, going into the base, it's still called Fort Benning Road or Fort Benning Drive or whatever it is. They have not changed that. But they went about changing all these names. Can you imagine the money that was expended? The name was stamped all over everything. And the money that has been extended to that, and it'll cost us as taxpayers because they want to go about and had an agenda. He said, "We're going to get them back." And nothing against General Moore. It's a great name, a great way to honor, but don't take away Benning. And I hope that's one of them. So I'm glad to hear that Bragg, not that we were all big fans of Bragg as a leader, but that's what it was called. Let's quit doing that. He said, quote, "As an example, in addition to the military bases, I understand they now want to rename 14 ships. We want to rename them. Some of these ships have had a great and glorious past. They want to take the name off and put another name down. I can imagine whose names they're going to put up. Not going to happen with me. It's not happening with me. I can promise you that," end quote. God bless him. It's sickening. It's like taking down your monuments. Let's stop this crap. It just needs to stop. You know why? This total just trying to reword history, change it around, end it, mock it, whatever. Let's study it and learn from it. But there are things we like, things we don't like. But let's stop that. It's just ridiculous. He goes on to say he vowed to not only end the transgender, as he called it, quote, transgender lunacy. This is President Trump's quote, end quote. But he's going to make it U.S. government policy, quote, that there are only 2 genders, male and female, end quote. Here's the quote I want to get to. Quote, "With the stroke of my pen on day one, we are going to stop the transgender lunacy," end quote. He said, quote, "And I will sign executive orders to end child sexual mutilation, get transgender out of the military and out of our elementary schools and middle schools and high schools. And we will keep men out of women's sports. Under the Trump administration, it will be the official policy of the United States government that there are only 2 genders, male and female. It doesn't sound too complicated, does it?" End quote. So, it's going to be a red letter day. We'll say that the things that are going on. So he's got the gender going on. He made the threat to the Panama Canal, to Panama about the canal. Also, I think without a doubt, the majority, maybe not all, because there are some who did some really violent acts, but the majority of the J6ers are going to be, well, those are in jail are coming out, and those that have already been let out, they're going to be pardoned, and all those others too. There was one that was on Steve Bannon's show. I don't know if you saw that. He said I wish I could remember his name. If you saw that video, he said he was in jail for 37 months, another year on house arrest. And he was one of those that was in as they call it, the DC gulag that Marjorie Taylor Greene and other senators fought to be able to get in to talk to these guys, and how bad the treatment was there for religious services, for hygiene, for medical care, whatever it was, the ability to talk to lawyers, everything. They put such clamps on them, and they restricted them, and they kept them in solitary confinement most of the time. And it was very hard. And he said you just couldn't remember. He said, or not remember, he said, you just can't imagine how hard it was each and every day. And he said, when they came in, what a breath of fresh air it was that they came in, and it gave them hope. And, I think you're going to see a lot of that on the first day that he comes into office, and we just got to get past this and move on. There's never going to be a consensus. There's never going to be unity on this in the country. There's never going to be, there's so many differing opinions about it, but I think the majority of Americans say, let's stop this lunacy. Let's get these folks, the grandmas and stuff, and let's pardon them and move on. And I don't think anybody's ever going to go to jail, although they should, for how they have treated some of these folks. And sadly, the one thing that can never be brought back are those that the pressure was just too much and they committed suicide. And they were just heartbroken because the way the government jacklegged them around and told them they were going to be okay, and then came crashing down on them and just really destroyed them. And the lies that have been told, but yeah, there's going to be a lot. He said even Mount McKinley is coming back. Yeah. Trump said he will rename Denali after William McKinley, the 25th U.S. president who was assassinated in 1901. Democrat President Obama in 2015 officially renamed the Mount Denali. The peak has been officially called Mount McKinley since 1917. Quote, they took his name off Mount McKinley, end quote, Trump said in a speech to his supporters in Phoenix. Quote, he was a great president, a Republican, Trump said, adding his administration will bring back the name of Mount McKinley because I think he deserves it. And so he's going to try. Of course, they're doing everything they can every day to try to stop that. But, we'll see. There's a lot to get done. And certainly it cannot be done, nor would it be possible for it to happen on the first day. But there is a lot that will happen, and it's going to be some political fights. But he's going to exert a lot of things. Dick Morris, who is a political commentator, used to work for the Clintons on their campaigns, but has really been on the conservative side now for some time. He says he had a quote where he said that, this is from Solange Rayner. If you get the feeling that Congress is stuck in the past, you're right. The way this works is if Congress were a football team, it would specialize in punting. That's true. It is constantly delaying this reckoning, Morris said during an appearance on Newsmax Saturday Report, hours after a government shutdown was averted when the Senate rushed the final passage of a bipartisan plan that would temporarily fund federal operations and disaster aid. Not included in the package were President-elect Donald Trump's demands for a debt limit increase into the new year. What we're looking at now is like an astronomer looking at the sky as it is now, but as it were a few light years ago before the light reached us. We are absolutely living in the past here. The debt ceiling, which was an issue in the bill, is a total phony document, Morris told Newsmax. It was started, I think, 20 years ago, and it says you have to keep the same spending as you had last year in the budget. But the problem is we didn't have a budget last year, and we didn't have one the year before, and we didn't have the one the year before. And if we haven't had one, I think, in 13 or 20 years, and what Trump said was to stop this facade about the debt limit. It's just being used as a kugel for Democrats to make Trump clear his new spending with Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and give the Democrats a role that they shouldn't have. The fact that Trump navigated this with a 5-vote majority in the House is really good. It's a tribute to his diplomatic skills and the power that he's wielding, and he's wielding the power very effectively. But this is such a travesty. And so I agree with him on a lot of his comments there about that. And yeah, they just keep pushing things down the road. And your grandkids, my great grandkids, and all are going to suffer the consequences of a lot of this if we don't get something, going on this. So yeah, it's really sad that they're not effective, and they go to the government to do a job, and then they don't do it. Then they don't show up for votes. And this happens sometimes on both sides of the aisle. Remember President Obama, who was a senator, how absent he was from doing his job. Remember how he never that he just didn't show up for votes, and that happens a lot, and it needs to stop. It really does need to stop. So we'll see where that goes, but a lot of news happening today as we think about. We're getting closer, of course, around Christmas. Got to watch them whenever there's an event going on like Christmas. What are they going to drop? Meaning the Democrats. Senator Paul calls for House Speaker with a spine. Johnson has his enemies, that's for sure. And Senator Paul, he's definitely never without a quote. Nothing else major I see from these articles, but I look forward to this week. There'll be some delay in the news because of the holiday, but it was important they got that work done because everybody is leaving for the holiday. So I'm just trying to catch up with some of the chat. Okay, I'm seeing some of your. I didn't see them all, but I saw some. So y'all been very active. Good. There was a couple of things I wanted to cover though, and that I had saved an article today, one or two today that I saw, and one of them is let's see, one of them is this ridiculous story, and we've heard this so many times, about the homeowner that was arrested for evicting a squatter. Now, there's several parts to this, and this was, I believe, in Atlanta, but they were arrested for trying to evict the squatter. And one of the things they said was, "I'll go get my gun." So they made it terroristic threats. But this whole idea that people, I'm going to do a mega minute on this, but the whole idea that you get locked out of your place and you can't get in, they change the locks and they live there rent free and destroy your place, and you're the homeowner, something's got to be done. It's just ridiculous that those things happen. But yeah, the squatters. I mean, come on, are you kidding me? That has happened all over the country, but it's definitely happened in Atlanta. And I couldn't imagine that, paying on a mortgage on a place that you have no access to, and the people there have no financial responsibility for anything, and they're keeping you out. Your name's on the deed. You're the one paying the bill, and you can't get in your own property. Are you kidding me? Something has to happen. I mean, that's mixed up. It's been mixed up for a time. There was one guy. Remember that story with the guy? He tricked the people into leaving. He figured out a way. It was ingenious. He got them out. They fake being someone else, contacted them to try to get them to go to leave, and it worked. And when they left, he went in and changed all the locks and did the same thing to them that he had done, and got back. I think it was his mom's house that it came to him or something, or she was at home or whatever it was. But I remember that happening. But yeah, it's ridiculous. Can you imagine your stuff, your property, all of your clothes, all of your dishes, all of your photo albums, everything being under control of strangers that have moved into your place? And now they've changed the locks, locked you out, and the police won't help you out. Come on. I mean, that's, I can tell you in some areas of the country, that wouldn't last very long. It wouldn't last very long, but here's the article Michael was talking about, the scandal over Texas Representative Kay Granger's mysterious disappearance from D.C. and what happened to her. he said the son said that his mother had exhibited signs of dementia, and she had a very rapid decline. Brendan Granger, the son, told the Post, New York Post, that his mother exhibited signs of dementia over the past 3 months since she's moved in the facility. He blasted reports that his mom ended up in a memory care facility after seeing her losing her wits as a load of bull. We know what that was, saying she chose to move to the community of her own free will. Well, why didn't she resign? They have a memory care facility there, but she's in an independent living facility. It's a nice condo. I helped her move in. But why isn't she held up? I mean, if she's disappeared, I mean, what, The report cited a social media post from her user tag to Fort Worth, Texas, as well as 2 employees who confirmed that Granger is indeed living at the facility. Brandon Granger did not say whether she has received treatment at the memory care unit. I mean, but come on, if you're at a memory care place, I mean, doesn't that kind of I've preached in these places. You don't stay there if you're not suffering there are different levels to this. I mean, you have those where they have the nice apartments and they still go out to church and the store, but they've got a problem. And as it gets worse, they get moved downstairs or upstairs as it may be, and they keep them locked out where they can't get out at the very late stages of it, and then the next step is obviously death. But they did say that he did to say that her decline had been very rapid and very difficult. A source outside her family who's familiar with the situation said she told the Post, also told the Post that claims that the Republican congressman is in memory care unit are category false. It's sad, and again, you got somebody going downhill. First of all, let's take care of their health. But, there's, it's sad, it's really sad. But yeah, she is 81. And, things can happen in you right out. You never know when you're going to go down, when you start to decline, and you may not even be aware of it at first. It may be others around you. If I'm ever on the podcast and I keep repeating myself constantly, except for tell Rob that he's, wrong, gets me some help. Call somebody and say, somebody help Dave. I mean, because I try not to repeat myself like that. Other than, no, she didn't look good in the picture. She doesn't look good. You can tell there's something wrong there. So first of all, our heart goes out to a woman who has, dedicated herself to public service and is a mom and, has people love her and everything else. So that's first off. And we wish and hope and pray for the best for her and her son and family. But the second, and we do that first. Secondary is the job that she's to perform. If she can't do that, just resign and take care of your health. I always said that about President Biden. No, I don't like anything he does. But what was even more heartbreaking for the last 2 years is watching this decline and how they kept pushing him out there like the elephant in the center ring, making him perform. I'm sorry, but animals are mistreated in circuses a lot. And this administration has been a circus, and has been a circus for some time. And it just gets worse all the time. We find out more and more things that this administration is doing. And they're now admitting in major liberal newspapers that President Joe Biden, from the get-go was absent from duty and canceled meetings, stayed gone. They had to hide him from certain things because he couldn't handle it. And yeah, it is bad. I saw the first time my aunt's mom, and we'd go to their house, and she was very elderly, and she was repeating herself. And as a teenager, I don't even know if I was a teenager yet. I was probably, I don't know, 11 or 12, somewhere in there. And I remember her just asking me constantly, well, who are you, son? What's your name? And I would say, they always call me Davy. It's no secret. My family calls me Davy. And I would say Davy. And then not even a minute later, she'd say, well, who are you? What's your name, son? And the first time it happened, I thought maybe she didn't hear me. So I told her again. Then I told her again. Then I told her again. And finally they come and got her, and it was pitiful. It was pitiful. She could not remember that she had asked me that within 1 minute of asking me that, and she didn't last too long. So sometimes it's a slow decline, and sometimes it's very rapid, but it's not pretty at the end. It's really not pretty, and in most cases, and as that affects the brain, and it begins to have a breakdown, and the body is not functioning appropriately, not just the memory, but in many, many other ways. Is it not? And Michael says his mom and grandmom. And I'm sorry, man. It's sad. It really is sad when that happens. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. Honestly, I would not. And I talked to a guy once. Oh, I've talked to several people. I remember one guy I worked with. He was a truck driver, and I'll never forget one night when he came in. He just looked like he'd had a rough day. And I said, "You all right, man?" He goes, "Well, no, not really." I said, "Want to see my mom today?" And I thought, "Oh, I'm sorry. Did she, something bad happened to her?" He goes, "No, no, it's just kind of something been going on for a while." And she was in a home already. And he told me that she had dementia and was, slipping. But he said, but today was the first day that she didn't know who he was. And I can only imagine how that made him feel. It wasn't her fault. Here's this woman as your mom, and she goes, "Who are you?" And actually, I think got smart with him. "Who are you? Get out of here! I don't know you." It's kind of like that. And he was heartbroken over it. And I understand that. I definitely understand that. It's tragic, and a lot of families go through stuff like that. And sometimes that decline can be very long, over time. I always felt bad when Ronnie Reagan, when that happened to him, and, the end, or the singer Glenn Campbell, they were very public figures that a lot of news about them and what was going on. The aphasia, whatever it is now that actor Bruce Willis is going through. And I think it's getting to a bad stage too, from what I've read. For some time now, I don't think he's known too much about who those people are around him most of the day and most of the time. But it is sad, and that's a sad story. And things can get used politically, and if everything's legit here, okay. But it looks as though there are some problems. But she has a right to live in the same district, obviously, and live where she wants. But if it is a memory care facility, and why would it be there when you could get an apartment anywhere? It does tend to lead you to the fact that she has suffered some sort of decline. So, so we'll see. Again, I only connected to it from what I read today, and I'm glancing through the article. I didn't read everything. I don't like to believe every word, but look that up. This is a New York Post article on it. I'm sure there's others. So our heart goes out to them, though. That's sad. And when everybody tells me that they have a family member that is suffering that, it's tragic. As I said, I've done a lot of church ministry in memory care places, and and these folks were attorneys, engineers, also teachers, you name it. They were everything, and they do the memory care exercises with them. They ask them play games, and they constantly are getting their brain to engage and work, and they ask trivias and stuff like that. And some of them I didn't know, but they were answering them. But near the end, but right before they would disappear from my view, because they would be taken to a room, a floor where they couldn't get out because they try to run off. They would always be that day when I would come in to do the Bible study or devotion or whatever, and someone that would always come. Sometimes you had people in and out, but there were some that always came, and there would always be that one. And I remember there's one gentleman. I think he was an engineer. He was a smart guy, brilliant, just great guy, and I'll never forget that day I showed up, and he says, "Well, who are you?" And I looked, and I had been with him for going on 2 years. And I told him. He says, "Well, good to have you. How long have you been coming here?" And the staff just looked at me like, and the next time I came, I went once a week there and had others too, but this was one I went to in Atlanta. And he wasn't there. He had been moved. And within just 2 or 3 weeks, he was gone. And it's tragic. It's absolutely tragic. Yeah, brother, hey, I get that. And I was talking about that today at church, this, the depression during the holidays and stuff. And mentioned a little bit this morning on Sunday in the Word, sorrow. And a lot of people are in sorrow. But, I wouldn't want that to happen to anyone. That would be heartbreaking to see that. And it is heartbreaking. And, I don't think anybody would want to put that on their family. I don't. Joe Manchin says this Congress will be the worst in the history of the U.S. Joe Manchin, just go home to West Virginia. That should be a country song about you. Just go to West Virginia. You won't be a Democrat, but you won't be a Republican. And now you're the worst Congress in the history of the U.S. Well, you're part of the problem, sir. This is CNN headlines. I'm not going to read articles. I just want to see the headlines. Trump revives interest in obtaining Greenland from Denmark. Oh, inside Trump's team plans to try to end birthright citizenship. Oh my goodness. Whatever. They also cover her story. Let's look at this one. 6 key lines from Trump's Sunday speech to conservative activist. A conservative activist. I love how they put that. In Phoenix. From Eric Bradner, and Aaron Pellish. Let's see, 6 key points. Let's see here. What's the key points? Oh, the Panama Canal. Well, yeah, we knew they'd probably mention that one. Because they didn't like his comments about taking that back. So that was one of the key points. The Putin meeting. He suggests he could meet with Putin early in his presidency as he seeks to negotiate an end to Russia's war in Ukraine. So they did mention that one. Musk influence, which Trump mentioned himself. They list that as a key factor in this, or a key point in his speech. So they did mention that one. No commentary here. They're just mentioning the 6 key things that come out of that. The renaming of the mountain. Really? That's what, I mean, in the speech it was, I'm sure, but there's so many things but he's just, it's under an umbrella of so many things, and you knew this was going to come up. Vaccine skepticism. He defended his controversial pick for Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and seemed to suggest he would allow Kennedy to probe for links between vaccines and autism. He did mention that a lot about autism, and he would allow him to do that, and despite no evidence supporting the connection that Kennedy has long claimed exists. TikTok's future. Trump expressed openness to allowing the social media app TikTok to continue operating in the United States, suggesting that the app may have helped reach some key voters. So that was one of the key things, and so those are the main points they took out of it. Oh my goodness. The Panama Canal, the mountain, Putin meeting, Musk's influence, vaccine skepticism, and TikTok. CNN going to cover the story. So we'll see. Trump always has a wide range of things. That's one of the things when we listen to the Dems press conferences, they're usually very limiting. It's usually the same things over and over again. It's like, it's like they're on repeat. They just spin it a little different. Trump actually jumps on things that you don't normally hear presidents talk about. And I like that. It's refreshing, actually. Let's see. Lewis says, my ex's mom, her husband asked that, and then he would not remember her name, yell at her for no reason. They can get violent. So much it was straining her health. She felt like more like a nurse than a wife. And that is true, friend. And the The role of a caregiver is not easy. It is absolutely not easy. Um, if the North Pole had McDonald's, Trump would take it over. Oh, that may be true. Oh, he does like him some McDonald's. We should have an annex there somewhere as Mickey D's, the big arches, I can see Putin come to visit. What's this? McDonald's. You'll love it. He knows about them. They got them in Russia. I think some of them had to shut down for a time when things got bad in the Ukraine war, but they've probably reopened by now. I did enjoy that time that Tucker Carlson went there and shopped in the grocery store. I felt that very interesting. I really did. That was fun. Can you imagine how much attention was on him while he was there? Him and his camera crew. I mean, they were. They were probably visibly standing right there following him. What's he going to say about vodka? We're not going to put up with him trashing our products. But I thought he gave a pretty positive spin. Just showing what it was like to shop in a grocery store in Russia. I thought that was interesting myself. Some people might not have, but I thought it was. I thought it was interesting. So, yeah, it's bad. I mean, yeah, you get into that, and that's the love of a caregiver. It's not easy, but they can't help themselves, and you just got to do so. So yeah. Probably see the arches sticking out of Pennsylvania Avenue. Oh, can you imagine him coming out with? Of course, he wouldn't do it, but if he had like a little pin, like the American flag, had one on the other side for McDonald's, the little golden arches, that would be hilarious. Just because I know it would drive them, their minds would explode. The president of the United States has on a pin from McDonald's. Are you kidding me? I'm surprised as bad as Joe was out there on the beach. I'm surprised they didn't have ads all around him, helping to pay for stuff, making money off of it. Oh, man. Let's see here. Cardinal Dolan's powerful Christmas from Fox. Christmas message about Trump and the state of America. It's good to see different faith groups talking about those things. Denzel Washington becomes a minister. It means you can't talk about religion in Hollywood. Yeah, that's true. Ask Kevin Sorbo. Let's see here. There's nothing else there. There's nothing else I really want to cover. I just think that it's going to be Nick Saban responds to comedian who joked cheating took place at Alabama. I didn't see this story. One last thing here. This is from Fox as well. Chance Martin. In January, Nick Saban sent shockwaves through the college football landscape when he announced he would step away from the sidelines. Shortly after the coach retired, he officially joined ESPN. We know that. While Saban was working as an analyst for the network's long-running and popular pregame program, College Game Day, he also contributes to the NFL. Hold on. Things pop up here. Let's just love pop-ups on stories. He's a celebrity guest. I'm trying to get on Friday, comedian Shane Gillis was tapped as the guest picker as they bring them on and they do their picks. But at one point, and I didn't see this, I missed part of it because, again, I was traveling and stuff. But at one point during his appearance, one of the Funny Man's jokes seemed to irritate Saban. During a discussion about the state of college football, Gillis cited the relatively new parity that exists in the sport. But during his remarks, Gillis also seemed to assert that either Saban or perhaps the Alabama football program as a whole orchestrated or turned a blind eye if players received improper payments. This feels different. It feels like we can win it Gillis said. There's parity now that everybody can pay their players. Notre Dame has a shot. It's not just the SEC, or it's not the coach. It's not Coach Saban. The 7-time national championship winning coach was not present when Gillis made the comments. However, fellow ESPN college football analyst Pat McAfee eventually reminded Gillis about what he said. You called him a cheater earlier, McAfee noted. While Gillis said he made the comments in jest, Saban appeared to take offense to the suggestion that players were improperly compensated under his watch. I was just joking around, Gillis said. I don't think the SEC paid players ever. I'm joking. Is this not a fun show? Gillis eventually turned his attention to Saban's attire, particularly the retired coach's hat. Oh, Alabama Jones is being serious, Gillis joked in apparent reference to the hat that has come synonymous with the fictional character in Indiana Jones. Saban then offered a straightforward response to Gillis's joke concerning how he ran the Alabama program during his 17-year run. I do believe in integrity. I always try to run the program that way so players had a better chance to be successful in life. Saban said, we make more money in the NFL than any other school, 61 players in the league. That was how we cheated. We developed players. I'm sad I missed that. Oh, but I was traveling and I didn't have a chance to see that. It's the first time I've saw that. So, oh, yeah, we have lost the ability to laugh in this country. I hope we get it back. Yeah, it is hard, Michael. Back to the very much more important than what I was reading. Caregiver's hard idea with mom, then my wife 6 years later. Bless your heart. Yeah, they do get physical. My wife had an aunt, and she would try to box her daughter in the face when she tried to get her in the shower. She didn't last much longer after that either. Yeah, it's very hard. You might hear them say curse words when you never heard them curse in their whole life. I've seen that happen too. But they can get violent. Not always, but they can at a certain stage in the dementia or Alzheimer's. So yeah. So it's very difficult. God bless you for being, being there for them, though. I know that's hard. It's labor of love. It is hard. And after someone passes, there's a kind of a guilt and relief at the same time. There's a guilt because, you miss them and all that, but you're relieved that everyday 24/7 strain it's over. And you feel guilty about that. It's like, I mean, you miss them but it is hard. And you have to have a time to sort of deprogram from that and sort of get your life back. Yeah. Oh, he does. That's what made him a great coach. He smart and his tenacity and but yeah, he does walk around with that. And Pat McAfee is usually, it's funny that it wasn't McAfee. It's usually him that drives him crazy, but it was the other guy. So good for the comedian for going there, have fun with it, man. You get one shot. He probably thinking, I ain't never going to get invited back to this. Let's have some fun. He is a comedian. I mean, that's what he does. What do you expect? Go, man. You go. I love it. Yeah, man. I'm going to be going. Well, I'm not going to be going to bed, but I'm going to get off here in a minute because I've got some stuff I got to get ready for tomorrow's show. The news is not real heavy tonight. I did want to talk about those few things and chit chat with you all, and hope you're doing well. If you have to work this week, have a great week, or at least up until Christmas. Some have to work Christmas. I get it. I am off. Have been off since Wednesday through the New Year's Day. Haven't decided about the 2 days after that, but I won't be sitting. I've got a lot to get done, but it is nice to be home and with family. Yeah, caregiving is my job, my last job I've had. And so, yeah, well, you're caregiving for yourself. I mean, you're doing it for you. So, and I'm going to get back down and see you, man. Have the coffee hot. I'll let you know when I'm coming. We'll get down. We'll have a little more time. Sorry, that day was we had to press hard. I had a deadline. I had to be in the show. Later, Michael. Have a good night, my friend. Good night, Lewis. Good night, Chickbait. I think she's already gone. Thanks to all of you in the stream for being in here. We do have some Christmas stuff loaded up. I was in Bainbridge, and they have the Christmas trees all lit up, and it's a nice thing to do down on the Flint River right there, down from town and the main part of town. And I didn't get all of it on video, but I made, and I've got a picture I'm going to post up hopefully for the morning show for me and Rob. And and there is a video of us doing a commercial for a business in Donaldsonville, Georgia. That's out there. And we got different things to load up. Some of them be later, some of them be now. But it says, I've been off 61 years. Yeah. I'll be 60 next year. I was telling my wife and granddaughter today, we were coming back from church. I don't even know what brought that up. Oh, I know what it was. She was like, she wanted to go see her mom. And I thought, well, I might get my son to do that. And she's like, well, I really want you to take me. I'm like, do you not know how much she drove a lot too. I said, do you not know how much I've drove the last, 4 days? She goes, well, Daddy drove the same amount. I said, yeah, but he's 21 years younger than me. She goes, well, that's true. I never thought of that. I said, yeah, he's got more energy than I have. Not that he wasn't tired, but he rebounds better than I do. Oh, it takes a little bit. I've been a little tired, sleepy. I was sleepy last night. I got, sleepy today. I fell asleep today for a little bit watching the Falcons. And hey, they won. Michael Penix. I'm going to do a sports show this week too. Probably a couple of them, but just real quick about sports. Michael Penix looked good in his debut with the Falcons, and they did beat the hapless Giants. It's not often you can say that, but they are hapless. They're bad. And there's still maybe hope. They gotta win out, and they need Tampa Bay to lose. He may be playing now. I didn't look, or maybe that's tomorrow night. Wasn't that tonight? If you know the score, but I don't know. They probably wouldn't go anywhere. But they did play a good game today. Bijan Robinson looks awesome, and Penix just looked natural. I mean, he did not look nervous at all about it. And they had a great run game. He threw for about 200. It was credited with an interception. It wasn't his fault. Pitts caught it, then lost it, coughed it up in the air. Somebody got it. It went right in his hands. It was on him. Sorry, Mr. Pitts, but that's on you. Officially, that's the way it counts. Even Terry Bradshaw said, as the old quarterback said, that's not fair. And I agree. So, but anyway, they got the win. That's all that matters. Some great games today. I mean, Washington coming back against Philly. I enjoyed that. I mean, I like Philly. I do. I'm not a big Washington fan, but I like Jaden Daniels. I really, really do. Yeah, they are on tonight. What is that score right now? Oh, and the Buccaneers are losing. It's 26-14 in the third quarter. So that's good for the Falcons. They need them to lose a game. The Falcons need to win out. So they have a shot. They should already be there. They should have bitched Cousins earlier and done this, because he looks great. I predicted it. I said it was going to be off an injury, though. I predicted it. If you listen back, the show's still posted out there. I said that here's the scenario, but I thought it was going to be injury. Penix would come in, have to rescue the season, and would never relinquish the job. And next year on the poster, it's going to be, him and Drake London, Bijan Robinson, and Kyle Pitts. That's what's going to be on the poster for the Atlanta Falcons. And I think that's where we're at. I just kind of saw that coming. I think they had to make the deal. It's money, and everybody it's a huge contract. It settles them with great debt. People do that all the time. They'd gripe if they didn't go get him. So he played great in the beginning of the year, and who knows, he may have to come back. What if Penix gets hurt? There's a lot of things that can happen. So anyway, good night. God bless. Morning show in the morning. Me and Rob back together again on the morning show. And then tomorrow night, Mama said we'll have a couple of videos to post up and some different things, and hopefully can get all that done tomorrow and get some Christmas shopping in as well. So, and get some studio work done. A lot of things I want to work on. So hope you have a great Monday. Have a great night. Join us in the morning for that, and also the morning devotion, Maga Minute, and a morning funny as well. And maybe another edition of the Cornbread Nation promos I've been putting up. That show's coming real soon too. We'll see. But hey, have a great night. Take care of yourself. Stay warm. Stay dry. Stay involved as a patriot. And it was one of the things we were at that group meeting, and they were talking about, I mentioned it. I said, because she said, do you ever see this happening where you're at? I said, what, corruption, fraud? All the time. And I told them about a few things that had happened. And I said, what the problem is that people don't go to, they don't go to the meetings. And she said, well, honestly, I didn't until this came up. So that's true. Most citizens don't go. They can't name their commissioners. They can't name their school board. And we got to be more involved in that as citizens. Go on the website. They're all listed there. They have to be listed. Find out who they are. Find out which one represents you, your district, and hold them accountable. Go to the meeting sometime, and let them know that you're not going to put up with shenanigans if they're the ones that's doing that. Anyway, be a good American. That's our job, right? Have a great night. We'll see you in the morning. Salute.
Well, once again, it's time, my friends, for another meet and greet. We're Southern Fried and nationwide, so hang on to your seat. Look around, here's what I found. I guess you'll never know what you'll see on the Southern Fried Podcast Show.